Good morning, boys and girls. This is the part 2 of lesson 1 homework. This is page number 5 in your math book. So I'm going to read the directions for you. It says right here, number 1, use the place value chart and arrows to show how the value of each digit changes. The first one has been done for you. So I'm going to make sure I use my place value chart, which is this chart right here, and I'm going to make sure that I show how the value of each digit changes. So I'm figuring out how each number changes, and they give an example right here. So the first one is already done for me. So what I have here is the number 4 and 582 hundredths, thousands actually, times 10. And then you get the answer of 45 and 82 hundredths. So you're wondering, how does that happen? I'm looking at this number right here. It says I'm multiplying times 10. When I'm multiplying a number times 10, I'm going to look at how many zeros there are. In this case, we have 1 0. That means that I'm going to move my digit over either left or right. And in this case, it is going to move to my left because my number is multiplying, so my number is getting larger. If I was dividing, then my number would move to the right because my number would be decreasing and getting smaller. So if you look here, I'm going to move 1 time to the left. So my 4 moves over 1 time. My 5 moves over 1 time to the left. My 8 moves over 1 time to the left. And my 2 moves over 1 time to the left. Okay? Now I'm going to tell you guys how this chart right here works. Over here, we have these numbers that you guys already recognize from 4th grade, 3rd grade, even 2nd grade. So we have our ones, our tens, our hundreds, and our thousands. And it continues on, right? 10,000s, 100,000, and a million. So this is skip counting by 10. You're multiplying this number by 10. 1 times 10 is 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. So the exact same thing happens on this right side. However, the numbers are technically decreasing. They're being divided smaller. So this is 1/10, 100, and 1,000ths. Okay? So these are going to be pronounced with THS when you say it. That's how we recognize the difference between 1/10 and 10. Okay? Now we're going to move on to the next number. We have problem B. For problem B, we have 7 and 281 thousandths. So I wrote it down right here. 7 and 281 thousandths. How do I know that is thousands? We say the last number, and right here is the thousands. Okay? Now, on this side over here, it asks me to multiply times 100. So I need to make sure I'm multiplying times 100. I count how many zeros there are. There are 2 zeros. That means that I'm going to move my number 2 times. I need to figure out, is it going to be my left or my right? Remember that Miss Tran told you that left means that I am multiplying and right means that I'm dividing. My number is not going to decrease when I'm multiplying a number. When you're multiplying a number, your number is going to increase. It's going to get bigger, right? It's not going to get smaller, so it's not going to move to my right. So in this case, I'm going to move over 2 times. So if you look here, I'm moving my 7 over 1, 2 times. Same thing with my number 2. I'm moving it over 2 times. 1, 2. And then my 8, I am also moving it over 2 times. I have 1, 2. And my last one, I am moving my 1 over 2 times. 1, 2. So this one's my 1. This one is my 8. So you guys can kind of see it visually with color. Sometimes color really helps. If you want to write in color too, and it helps you, then definitely do that. So That's how the numbers move. They move over 2 times to left because I am multiplying. So my final number I have here is 728 and 1/10. So I'm going to write that right there. 728 and 1/10. Okay? Now, I'm going to move on to problem C. For problem C, it says here I have 9 and 254 thousandths. So I wrote it down, 9 and 254 thousandths. If it helps you, you can always remember that decimal is always lined up. So the point right here, decimal, is always going to be at the same spot. So I put the other numbers next to it. Now, they're asking you to multiply times 1,000. How many zeros are there? There are 3 zeros. So that means that I'm going to be moving my number over 3 times. Okay? So I have left and right. I need to figure out if I'm moving to my left or my right. If I am multiplying, then I'm moving to my left. And if I am multiplying, if I'm dividing, then I'm moving to my right. Okay? In this case, I am multiplying. I see a multiplication sign right here. That means I'm definitely going to move to my left. So I'm going to move to my left 3 times. I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier. I'm going to use color. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So you have 9 when you move it over 3 times. It changes to 9,000, right? And my next number I have is the 2. And when I move it over 3 times, I get 1, 2, 3. My 2 is now in the thousands place. Now my 5. I need to move it over 3 times. 1, 2, 3. My 5 is now in the tens place. And my last number is a 4. I'm going to move it over 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So my 4 is now in my ones place. So my new number is actually 9,254. Now you can put 0.0 if you want to. It is equivalent. It is the same if you do that. Or you can leave it alone as a whole number like this. So I'm going to leave it alone as it is. Now for problem D, it asks you to explain how and why the value of 2 change in A, B, and C. So they're asking me to look at the value of 2. So we have 2 right here, we have 2 right here, and we have 2 right here. You notice that this one is in the thousands place, this one is in the 1/10th place, this one is in the 1/10th place as well. So for A, I noticed that the 2 became 10 times bigger. Like I said, because of this number right here, it is 10 times bigger. And then for B, I noticed that the 2 became 100 times bigger. For C, I noticed that the 2 becomes 1,000 times bigger. And the reason being is because you are multiplying times those numbers. So of course, it's also going to increase your number, whichever number you choose to multiply. So that's what happened there. Now, we're going to go on to page 6. For page 6, it asks you to use the place value chart. So again, they want you to use this chart. And arrows to show how the value of each digit changes. The first one has been done for you. So this is a repetition of what we just did earlier, but I'm going to make sure that you guys understand where those numbers are coming from. So again, I'm going to use a different color. Again, you have, this time it's different because it's division, right? So I'm dividing in this case. So it says divide by 10. So that means that I'm going to move my digit 1 time because there is 1 0. So I'm either going to move to my left or my right. And remember, left means to multiply and right means to divide. In this case, I'm dividing, so I'm going to move to my right. Okay? And I'm going to move over 1 time. So 2 changes into 2. I moved it over once. 4 changes to 4. I moved it over once. And the same thing with the last digit. I have 6 changes to 6, and I moved down once to the right. So the reason being is because I divided. Sorry, I dropped the pen. Okay. Now, that's why my answer is 0 and 246 thousands.